I'm Sandy Wolters and welcome to Sandy Spotlight. Today I'm introducing you to author Barbara Ebel. She wrote Outcome, a novel, and I have to tell you I really enjoyed this book. And I'm so excited to tell you that she is here to explain it to you and describe it to you herself, so you'll get to meet her. I just wanted to kind of give you my impressions of the book first. There are so many things going on in this novel, so many different storylines, and they all come together beautifully. And it touches on some, very important subjects, organ donation, that type of thing, the distress a family goes through when they lose someone, and what happens if they're generous and those organs from that person that they love goes to someone else that needs them and survives because of that. So it's just a fabulous book. There are some very technical parts in this book. There's OR scenes and there are ICU scenes, and the language is very technical. But if you like the show House or the show Bones, which I love both of those shows, you're going to be right at home with this book because you learn a lot and it's not going to throw you at all. Also, the character, the dog, Putt Putt, he touches so many lives in this book. And I have to tell you, there were parts that I cried. So you're going to really like it, and I can't wait for you to meet Barbara. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. Please leave a comment for Barbara. If you enjoy this blog, hit the tweet button, hit the Facebook button, subscribe to the blog if you like being introduced to new authors, and without further ado, I'm going to give it over to Barbara. Thank you for joining us.
Sandy, thank you so much for having me on your spotlight today. You're a wonderful lady, a gracious host, and a very good writer. I'm honored to be one of your featured authors. Although you all get to see this, it's pretty funny to talk out loud to a webcam. I just hope my husband doesn't come home to find me talking to my computer. Here's a little bio. I've had multiple careers only because sometimes life makes you change courses. Most of my career, I've been an anesthesiologist, and I still dabble in some teaching. That's why you'll always find my novels with credible, user-friendly medicine in the background. You'll learn some things and get a new perspective of what goes on in an operating room. But having said that, my plots and characters still get center stage, and you'll always find a dog as a main character. And yes, I do love to write. As Sandy mentioned, my book today is Outcome, a novel. There's more than a hurricane coming. It was just released in August. I consider it general fiction, bordering on historical fiction. It's historical because the backdrop to the drama is the 2004 Category 4, Category 5 Hurricane Ivan, which steamrolled up the Gulf of Mexico. I lived where the storm made landfall, and the events are quite accurate. If you like the Oscar-winning Best Picture called Crash, then you will probably like the way Outcome's plot is arranged. Multiple people and events come together after the initial monstrous hurricane. But there's a worse event to befall a young woman who is evacuating, and she ends up being stat-flighted north in a coma. Eventually, she is the liver organ donor to a very ill mother of 2 teenagers in southern Indiana. The lives of several husbands and wives, college students, a feisty female pilot, a police officer, and a surgical team all cross paths in varying ways, each one carrying their own baggage, their own loss, mixed emotions, professionalism, or sheer kindness to others. The main surgical scene in the book gets a bit technical, but I do that on purpose. It's the interactions between the characters during the surgery that's important. From the beginning to the end of the novel, we intermittently follow the original young woman's dog. The hurricane-battered dog named Putt Putt is lost in the blowing sand and gusty winds and survives the aftermath. At one point, we also learn his backstory before the storm. His plight is very touching. Outcome has a diversity of characters, and they get pulled from Indiana to Peru. I'm going to give you a tiny sample. I always write in some strong female characters, so I'll tell you about the feisty female pilot, Diana Devlin. You meet her right up front in Chapter 1 when she's about to take flight in her Cessna. Not only is she battling a scary runway takeoff, but she has a front seat passenger, a surgeon, who also wants to take charge of more than an operating room. Diana takes care of the emergency aborted takeoff as well as the arrogant man sitting beside her. She's got more brains and gumption than Angelina Jolie wielding a gun in The Tourist. The second character I'll mention is the one we can all despise. He's there from the beginning and he wraps up the book nicely. Just about the time you'll have had it with him, I had it with him too, but I don't want to be a spoiler. Another character I'll introduce you to is 18-year-old Johnny Barnes, a college freshman. Johnny is the son of the woman who is the transplant recipient. He is the man of the house because his mom is divorced and he has a younger sister. He battles his own Ohio Valley allergies and keeps his eyes on his younger teen sister, yet grapples with the fact that his mother is closer and closer to death with hepatitis C. With reserve and conscientiousness, he monitors his mother's well-being and is always cognizant of keeping his college costs down. I believe there are college students like Johnny who make us proud of the next generation. The latter part of the plot has Johnny, the organ donor's daughter, the astute anesthesiologist, and the female pilot in Florida facing the hurricane's destruction and looking for the dog who bolted into harm's way at the onset of the story. Oh, and there is a budding romance. My ultimate goal is for anyone to relate to some of the characters, enjoy my work, and I hope to give you some things to consider. I also hope you fall in love with Putt-Putt, and be sure to take a look at the cover of the book, which I designed to represent his part of the story. Thanks again, Sandy. I appreciated the welcome mat. Happy reading, everyone.